Here's another trig equation that we're going to solve with the calculator. We're looking for two solutions between 0 and 360 degrees. That cosecant is negative 5.51. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this in terms of sine, cosine, or tangent. So secant is the reciprocal of sine. So I'm going to start like this, negative 1 over 5.51. So that's more familiar to us, and it's a lot easier to work with. Make that a little bit neater. So now, sine is negative according to All-Star Trig class. It's positive here and here. So I know I'm going to be in quadrants 3 and 4. So that's always something I always like to keep aware of. So my two solutions will be down there. So immediately go to your calculator. Figure out what angle the sine is this value. So inverse sine both sides. And again, this is a calculator question. So I'm going to inverse sine. First of all, make sure you're in degree mode. I am from the last problem. So inverse sine of negative 1 over 1.51. Let me clear this. Inverse sine. Negative 1 over, I know I added an extra parenthesis, but that's okay. Negative 1 over 5.51. And my result is going to be, it's negative 10.46 degrees. Negative 10.46 degrees. Now you have to be very careful here. That is not a solution because it's not between 0 and 360. But we're going to use this solution to get the two solutions. So here's how you would do that. We have two solutions. One in quadrant 3 and one in quadrant 4. Now, negative 10.46, we know what that looks like. It's a negative angle, and it's a small angle. So this is bigger than it actually is, but that's okay. This is negative 10.46. Now, see, that's the one that is the quadrant 4 answer. So I need to measure it. And when you measure this, we're measuring it as a positive angle. So I'm going to measure it, obviously, counterclockwise. And that's actually how I have to measure this angle because we're going from 0 to 360. So it's exactly 10.46 less than 360. So 360 minus 10.46 is 349.54. That's the quadrant 4 angle. Now we have to find the quadrant 3 angle, which is going to be in this lower left quadrant. So I have to redraw the angle, the 10.46 angle, and it has to always be with respect to the x-axis. So the only way that makes sense for an angle to be 10.46 in quadrant 3 would be an angle that looks just like this. 10.46 right here. So notice how they're always the same measurements. The calculator tells you the reference angle. Now we have to measure this just like we measured this one. It's a positive angle, so we start at 0 and we measure counterclockwise until we get to the terminal side of the angle. So to measure this one, we're not going to do 360 minus anything. We're going to go, we know from here to here is 180. So we just have to add 10.46 more. So that's 190.46. So our two solutions here are 190.46 degrees and 349.54 degrees. Those are the two angles between 0 and 360. Now, you could say, well, negative 10.46 is also a solution, and it is. but it's not within the range they asked. So that's it. Now I'm going to do a quick check. Let's check the 190.46. So I'm going to type sine of 190.46. Sine of 190.46. And I should get negative 1 over 5.51. So that's what I got. I'm going to type in negative 1 over 5.51 just to make sure, because that's what the original equation said. Sine of the angle must be negative 1 over 5.51, and it is. So that's that. I'm going to do one more example in a separate video. So if that helps, please watch it.